Welcome everybody. My name is Nichole Stylianou. I'm MCTC's nutritionist dietitian. I'm very excited about our first podcast episode, which is called CalmWaves. And today we're going to be focused on longevity and how we can change our lifestyle to become healthier and have some good habits that will enhance our way of life. I'm so excited because today I have with me Mr. Arjay, which is a supervisor here in MCTC. He has a lot of experience in health and well-being as well. And we're going to have a nice conversation together. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Fred.
Thank you very much, Nichole. It was very luxurious how you say a lot of experience, but I try. I would say that, I'm very happy to be here with you having this conversation, because I think it's going to be a bit of a learning journey for me. I have a lot of questions as well. I know that you are MCTC's dietitian, nutritionist. So I do have some questions, but what are we discussing in this episode?
Today, we are interested a lot about also your lifestyle, because your background is from Singapore. And we know that Singapore is one of the countries that entered blue zones, which is one of the leading countries in aging well and longevity also. So we'd like to see, how does it do it so well? What do you do there, your habits? So we can have a nice conversation and share our backgrounds and our habits and our lifestyle overall. So growing up, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So it's very interesting now that you mentioned blue zone. When it comes to the blue zone, we have 5 places in the world where it has been the blue zone because of century-old traditions in terms of how they eat, what they eat, their lifestyle with walking a lot each day. But with Singapore, it's a bit unique, because it wasn't really in the original blue zone, but it was what they would call blue zone 2.0. So the blue zone was quite engineered to make it a blue zone. So a lot of things actually contribute to become a blue zone, that pertains to our diet, the lifestyle, having a social lifestyle as well. And I would say that, growing up in Singapore, as a Singaporean, you won't see it directly. But when you read it on paper, you kind of actually realize that a lot of things are being done. As I said, with Blue Zone, there are many aspects to achieving Blue Zone. But one of the aspects which I would say that I think a lot of Singaporeans still have a big challenge would be the diet. Mm-hmm. So if you know of Singaporean food, we are a country that is made up of Chinese, Malays, Indians, Eurasians, and our food is very fusion. Yes, and it's not particularly healthy, should I say. The local food in Singapore, it's very carb centric. Everything is surrounded with carbs. So when it comes to protein intake and so on, it's much lower.
Okay.
So this is one of the challenges that we have. Another thing that is a bit of a challenge is the richness of the food. A lot of our food is quite rich in coconut milk, quite high in fat as well. So these are some of the biggest challenge that a lot of Singaporeans face. But I must say, living in Cyprus, I've been exposed to a more high protein diet. Mm-hmm. So these are some of the questions which I want to ask. If you have a client who is, consuming a very carb-centric diet, right? They want alternatives to proteins. How, and what would you recommend?
Yes. So first of all, we try to see how to balance it out. So if they ask for more proteins, we see what type of proteins they like, if they are plant-based or if they are animal-based proteins. And then we see on each individual their health history, their habits, the routine in their job description, for example. So then we have an idea on the amount they need to take per day, also the activity level, if they are exercising, what type of activity, the climate also plays serious role. So in Cyprus, for example, that is more humid some days, but also it's very hot weather during the summer, especially.
Very hot is an understatement, I would say. It's boiling in the summer, in July and August. But yes, continue.
So this is something we need to consider. So high protein diet might affect the way you adjust on the temperature. Mm-hmm. So it needs to have more fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, or not so much processed meat, for example. And we are kind of still using the Mediterranean style of diet in Cyprus, but not each household follows this, unfortunately. But research have shown that even nowadays, still they have salad with each meal, especially for lunchtime. So they also include a lot of local things or in season, which is very good. Seafood and also fish is part of the diet here. However, through checking the blue zone countries and cities that they had it in Japan, in an island of Greece, Icaria, also a part of Latin America, a part of Spain that has some countries, cities that they are called blue zoners. What we mean by blue zone is what we said before, that they live long, but they age well. And what they do well is that they eat as much fresh as possible and in season and without so many preservatives and additives. So the meat portion, it's balanced out through the week. So what I suggest we can check as outsiders, let's say, and get from that, is to see a little bit of our traditions, because even in Cyprus, 30 years ago, they used to eat more fresh foods. Nowadays, the working schedule has changed. Your families don't have the time to sit down together and enjoy the meal, so they eat on a rush. So we need to take it a little back, and the time we are eating to relax, enjoy what we are eating, and eat as much as possible that is not processed or ready-made.
That's very interesting that you mentioned that also fresh, also having a balanced diet. But I would say that, with Asian cuisine, for the longest time, we have seen it to be very carb-centric. But also as of late, not just, in Singapore, but being in shipping, we've also seen a trend with the ordering pattern of a lot of our Asian crew as well. Yes. We have seen an increase in the protein consumption, right? And this is quite interesting because this was not the same pattern as we saw 10 years ago. So we do see a trend in higher protein consumption. Would you say that this is because people are a bit more educated about these things with protein intake and having a more balanced diet?
Yes, probably, because we see now also in Asian cuisines, also with the vessels, that they have some ingredients that are very healthy that they add together with the protein. Also, we have a lot of plant-based protein that they are preparing.
Yes.
So this is very good. What I would suggest more, it was to I'm sorry, we had a noise.
Yes, we had someone honking in case you heard it, but not for us, unfortunately.
Yes. So what I would suggest is that to try to combine recipes that they are rich in protein, but good type of protein.
Yes.
What I mean by that is that actually, to explain a bit more, is that every cell of our body is made up of proteins. All our tissue, our internal organs, our brain, our nails, hair, everything, they have protein inside.
Wow, okay.
So increasing in the good quality of protein, lean cuts or protein from fish, like that. Yes. So this will be beneficial for them. So another example is we notice sometimes they want to increase protein and reduce carbohydrates, this is another subject that we can talk.
Yes.
Because carbohydrates
Mm-hmm.
can help you eat less portions of another macronutrient that is more fat or protein, but balance you out, exercise more in this way and stay healthy.
Okay.
But the good like whole grains and whole wheat that have low GI. And
this is very interesting that you mentioned that, because one of the things which I noticed with the Mediterranean diet here, it's how much legumes they consume. And this was very interesting because I have a story to share. When I first moved to Cyprus, I was in the office pantry area, and I asked a colleague of mine, what are you having? And she looked at me, she said, fajee. I was like, what is fajee? And she opened her container, and I saw these beans. And to me, they looked a bit raw. Like if it was an Asian way of cooking, I would have stir-fried it. Yes. I would have, made it into a dessert or something. But some of them actually eat the legumes, just boiled with some olive oil and some lemon. And this is one of the aspects of, these blue zone places where they have a diet with legumes.
Of course.
So with even living in Cyprus, I mean, for you, what's your take on legumes and such?
Yes, I wanted to comment on that. It's really nice that you said about it. Actually, yes, we boil most of our legume beans and peas and chickpeas. All these we boil them instead of stir frying. And I remember when I was back in the States, I used to talk with a lady from there, and in the States they add the legumes and all this in meat and mix it up with sauce and all these things.
That sounds delicious, FYI, but okay.
I suggested to her the lentils you said before to cook it the way I knew.
And what lentils was that?
Lentils.
How do you say in Greek?
The fagi, you said?
Fagi, okay.
To boil it and mix it with either carrots or with rice. She tried back home, and everybody was so excited. So what we say sometimes is to try new recipes from other cultures. And maybe we have similar ingredients, and we don't even know that we are eating similar things. That's why I wanted to see also on your part of the world, while you were growing up, did you have similar ingredients there too?
I had similar ingredients, but I must say my legumes, we have this delicious Indian dessert. We use this like a dal, basically lentils, and we make a dessert out of them. We boil them, we put coconut cream in it. Next thing you know, you are 1,000 calories in and you're sleeping on your sofa out of a food coma.
Okay.
Delicious, but not healthy.
Yes.
So it was very refreshing to see how people in Cyprus, they are, or in general, other countries in Europe, they are using these legumes and making them quite delicious. Because even in Indian cuisine, we use, we consume a lot of lentils, a lot of legumes, but we are, adding a lot of spices, which, it's not bad for health. Yes. They have good, nutrients and such. However, there are also the other added ingredients from the creams and such that make it a bit unhealthy.
Yeah, maybe it's the cooking method or if they add too many creams, as we say.
Yes.
But actually, to mention that in Indian cuisine, the spices they use, there's a lot of research done that they have low rates of heart diseases because of the spices that they use.
Well, bring on the spice then, I say.
Yes, of course.
That's lovely. Also, I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned about low GI foods and such. One of the things that I, have seen over the many years in Singapore, there is an increasing awareness in people because the brands in Singapore, for example, if you go to buy a bread or whatsoever, they are even indicating which of the breads are low GI. If you would go and buy legumes, right, it could be any brand legumes, they are indicating which of these legumes have, lower GI or which products have lower GI. And even there are even this pyramid, health pyramid sign given to options food products that are more healthy. So generally, when I'm going to the supermarket, I am actively actually seeking out for these labels. So when I'm buying my my food to make at home, I'm trying to opt for these alternatives because it is there for me to see, and I am actively made aware that this is the healthier option.
This is amazing what you said. This is very interesting because this is a problem with other countries, I think. The fact that they educate you and they show it to you there, and you know what to choose, you have options. You educate also yourself. Next time you go, where are we? Choose this.
Exactly.
It's important. Whereas in other parts of the world, they put color for the marketing of food, especially for children. They put so much color on it that it has more sugar there also.
Yep.
So the supermarket visit can be one of our topics because it is very important to how to go and shop on the supermarket or how to order food actually. So there are some tips for you to follow to choose healthy while you are there because they want to make it difficult for us.
Do you think more countries should adopt this labeling of items? Because this is something that we have with the Asian community. We have seen a huge, we have a high rate of diabetes and so on. And one of the ways that we have made aware is for these sugary drinks to have these labels and to show the sugar content at some point, so that you are aware of what you're actually consuming. But it's just so many things from what we can learn to have a more engineered blue zone, like what Singapore has done, because they are aware of what the challenges are based on our day-to-day food. They have made ways to make Singaporeans more aware of what they're consuming. And we have also seen a trend within the Asian community with more increased protein consumption, like we have seen on board our vessels with the pattern. So this is very interesting, just to look at just one concept of one segment of the blue zone, should I say?
Yes.
And I'll be very happy to explore the other components of the blue zone.
I am looking forward for it because there's much to come and discuss about activity, about their psychology. So our next scene will be very, very interesting.
Let us do a good old blue zone part 2.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Nichole. Thank you very much.
So I'm so happy that we share our
Yes, besides the honking and the motorbike, I think we had a very good conversation.
Yes, I really enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you very much, Nichole.
Thank you.